RoughRiders and Tulsa Drillers finishing up a series. It's the last game of a 6-game homestand, and we're joined, as we are every Sunday, by the manager of the RoughRiders, Jason Wood, coming off an 8-1 win last night, and some of the newcomers really were key contributors last night, starting with Jorge Alfaro, 4 for 5, a home run, 4 runs batted in. I think we can see why everyone was so excited when he got promoted up from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, you're right there. Offensively, he's fitting in real nicely here in that 2-hole, and he showed his power, his speed, his versatility, all in one last night, doing a lot of things, hitting the ball the other way with power, being able to hit that hole, driving some runs when he needed to, and he does a good job on the bases as well. So Georgie's been a nice addition to that 2-hole and also a nice addition to this ball club, and is going to do some great things behind the plate, and we're very fortunate to have him.
Have you seen many catchers who have the skill set that Alfaro has from a speed, power, arm standpoint?
They don't come around too often. I really haven't. This guy has got all the tools, the whole package. He looks the part. He's very physical. He does a good job behind the plate, and he's still learning as the game goes at the AA level. I thought he did a really good job last night controlling Derek and really managing that game pretty well, game calling. So there's still a lot to learn, but he's on the right path, that's for sure.
And today you've got him at first base. Is that a plan to get him at first base just to add some versatility and maybe take it easy physically on him?
Yeah, definitely. Basically to take it easy physically on him. I've seen him play some first base. I had him last year in the playoffs in Myrtle Beach. He played some first base for us, so he can do it over there. He's got no problem, and you got to have that bat in the lineup. He's young. He's still, he doesn't need too many days off, and he's ready to go. So it's a nice little break for him from squatting over there behind the plate to have him at first base tonight.
Nomar Mazara had a great game, too. He was 3 for 5, drove in a couple of runs. Did that promotion surprise you a little bit, that he got promoted from Hickory?
Yeah, it did. I didn't really see it coming. I knew my eyes were on him from day one in spring training. I liked the way this kid's presence was out on the baseball field. He looks like a big leaguer. He's 19 years old and does a great job. But I watched his numbers down in Hickory, and he was doing a very good job. But it did surprise me making this jump, and so far, he's done a pretty good job. I know that there's some things out there in the outfield he still has to learn. He may be being a little bit tentative, but for the most part, he comes in, he's aggressive at the plate, he's comfortable, a great kid, and he looks forward to playing every day, and that's nice to have.
The part that you can't see on the stat sheet that I've seen, and I've also heard people that have been around him a lot see, is the makeup. He doesn't necessarily look like a 19-year-old the way he acts, and speaks very good English. Was that a big reason, I'm sure, why the organization said he can handle the promotion 2 levels up?
Absolutely. He carries himself like a ball player, and he's, like you said, we get back to this 19 years old, but he doesn't show that. He goes about his business the right way. He comes to the ballpark ready to work every day. He's quiet, but yet he's got the right things to say when the time is needed. So it's not a shock. It's something that we like to do in our system, and if he's ready and we're still developing, then he needs to be here, and this is nice to have him.
Jake Thompson was really impressive last night in his second career relief appearance, first time obviously with us. He was also very good in his start in San Antonio. That slider just seems like such a weapon for him.
He's definitely got some torque on that slider. That thing has got some really tight break to it, and to his credit, he did a good job last night for coming in probably an unfamiliar role that he's played most of the year. He's been a starter, but having to come in after Derek, I think he fit in nicely. And it was a great performance last night, keeping these hitters off balance and really spinning that thing when he needed to.
We're here with RoughRiders manager Jason Wood. Speaking of Derek, I thought he looked sharp again last night, and in the 2 starts that he's had with Frisco, he's been very good. I'm not sure what happened with his start with Round Rock, but I would imagine that the Rangers have to be pretty pleased with what they've seen from him, at least here in the Texas League.
Yeah, I give Derek a lot of credit for the work that he's put in and the injury that he had this winter. I mean, that's tough to go through, and with all the injuries that the Rangers have had, to see him back on the right track, to see that live fastball that we know Derek has, is probably not as live as he wants it to be, but he showed some pop and some zip in it last night. I thought he had some good off-speed pitches, controlled the running game real well. I still think there's a few things he has to work on, and he's here right now as we speak after his start yesterday here in the clubhouse, working his tail off. So he's eager to get to where he wants to be and back to where he needs to be, and it's nice to have him part of this team.
And we've talked about how major leaguers, when they come here, it's so great for these guys in the clubhouse to be able to interact with them. And Holland, maybe more than any of them, just a Total one of the guys. He does a great job of interacting, I'm sure sharing his knowledge, and really, I think, from what you said, showing that work effort that he does put in when he's trying to get back up to the big leagues that I'm sure folks are keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is I see some of the pitchers and Andrew Faulkner taking advantage of Derek being around. Walked through the hallway a few minutes ago, and I hear Derek and Andrew talking about pitch sequences and what they do on certain hitters, and what a learning experience for a young kid to be here and talk to a major league pitcher and pick his brain a little bit. And having Derek being able to do that and willing to do that is also nice. But yeah, he's on the right path. And last night he was somewhat sharp, and I think he was somewhat pleased with his performance as well.
Last night, 17 strikeouts as a pitching staff, and the guy who came in at the end, Keone Kela, got 3 of them. It wasn't Keone's sharpest outing, but I think over the last month that he has really grown from where he was his first month or two with this club. Do you see the same thing?
He has. He's grown a lot, and no, that wasn't one of his finest moments last night. It wasn't bad. I think he went a little bit too deep into his pitch count, but to give him credit, he's been able to come in for us and slam the door when we needed it for the most part this year, the latter part of this year, which is good. And this is going to be something we need come playoff time. And we all know he's got that electric fastball, but I'll tell you what, something that shouldn't go unnoticed is that sharp curveball that he can also throw with 2 strikes and bury it, and he also can dump that thing in for a strike as well. So he's got a few pitches that are very good, above average, and that fastball's lightning.
Today we've got a great pitching matchup for the starters. Chichi Gonzalez going against Eddie Butler, who's already got time up in the major leagues this year. Is that something that you can appreciate, or is it something that you don't really pay much attention to because you're in the heat of the battle here and you've just got to try and do whatever you can to put your team in a position to win?
I think the latter of what you're talking about is probably where I'm at. I don't really get caught up in too many of the pitch-up matchups. I know we haven't seen Eddie Butler this year. I do know he's got some big league time. I get to the ballpark and look at numbers and tendencies that this guy tries to do, and that's kind of how I manage my lineup, and basically that's what I'm going with. And Chichi is a great pitcher, and we're glad to have him, and he does a good job at home. So it should be an interesting matchup tonight, and hopefully we can come out ahead and win the series.
Jason, congratulations on the big win last night. Best of luck out here in the homestand finale today.
All right, Alex, thanks a lot.
That's RoughRiders manager Jason Wood. We're back right after this here on the Frisco RoughRiders Baseball Network.